Hello and welcome to the iBUG Cafe. Thank you for taking the time to spend this Sunday with us in person. And those who will be listening to this cafe on our podcast as well as our YouTube channel, I welcome you. I'm your host, Sree Roy. This is episode 94, and today is March 12th, 2023. So we're going to spend the next 2 hours looking at 3 very critical apps used along with a sighted individual. And these apps are going to be Aira, Facetime, and Be My Eyes. So now it's time for me to introduce the one and only, who can never, ever be duplicated. It's our very own Sandhya Rao, who's going to tell us what's going on at iBUG today this week. So Sandhya, let us know.
All right. Thank you, Sree. We have a busy week once again. So tomorrow, all times are central and all events are on Zoom unless specified otherwise. Monday night is iBUG Buzz question and answer about all things related to your iPhone, the operating system, and various peripherals, 7 to 9. Then on Tuesday, we have iBUG Mini Buzz on Clubhouse from 5 to 6. Basically a continuation of what was happening on Monday night, but on a different place. So definitely join us there. Then Wednesdays, Android Insight, all those questions about your Android devices, Google tablets, all your Android and A-Lady devices. Goodness, you got lots of different things you can come and ask about on that call, 7 to 8:30 on Wednesday. Then Thursdays, iBUG Trekkie Talk for all of you Trekkies, Trekkie wannabes. Come and join us. We're going to be discussing The Next Generation Season 6 episodes 4 and 5. We watched them ahead of time and then discuss them. It's kind of like a book club, so with Star Trek. All right, then Friday night is iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. We don't know what the movie will be, but if you want to find out earlier than everybody else, come on Monday night at the midpoint. You can come and listen to the clues and test your knowledge of movie trivia and help figure out what the movie is and win those fabulous prizes. All right. And then our social media. Oh, well, one more announcement about what's coming up. Book club. We just had a book club last week, but I want to give you a heads up for April 13th. Start reading Free Fall by Jessica Ferry, DB 108798. It's going to be a great book. So get started because it's 12 hours. All right, then. One more thing. We got all of our social media. Let me tell you, we have ibugtoday.org is our website. The best, absolutely the best place to get all the current information about what we do and when we do it. So visit there, register, and then you'll get email notifications of upcoming events. All of our services are free. Registration is free. Everything is free. Well, yes. Then Twitter, you can follow us on Twitter at ibugtoday.com. Our Twitter master, Herbie Allen, is constantly tweeting out lots of good information. So definitely avail yourself of that. Follow us on facebook.com/group/iBugToday. You can post your questions and help others with their questions. Great way to share your knowledge and help others at the same time. Speaking of helping others, we have a mentoring program. If you need help as a beginner user to learn how to use VoiceOver on your iPhone, fill out the mentee application on our website. Conversely, if you are an experienced user and would like to help others, then you can sign up and be a mentor, and you could be one of the advanced users that will help our new users unlock the amazing power of their iPhone. Also, several of our training sessions are available in various platforms. They're available. You can go back and listen to our training sessions on our website. You can go back on YouTube, or you can find them on your favorite podcasting app. So, and the best part is, well, iBUG is a nonprofit organization, so periodically we do a little drawing, and this year's drawing will be on May 20th. So for a $10 ticket, you have the chance of winning a $500 shopping spree, tech shopping spree. $500. Think of what you can do with $500 at the Apple Store, or the Amazon Store, or the good Google Play. So there's lots of choices. We hope that you will support us, and to improve your chances, you can buy $50 worth and get 6 tickets. So we hope that you will come and participate. The more you play, the improve your chances. And you do not have to be present to win. All right, with that, I will hand it back to Sree. Sree?
All right, Sonia, thank you very much. And definitely 2 things. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and $500. You could almost buy a Mac Mini with that. So I wish everyone good luck. Okay, we're going to start off with the icebreaker question. I want to know, what is your go-to app when you need a sighted person to help you? Obviously, we're covering 3 apps today. We're covering Aira, FaceTime, and Be My Eyes. Let us know, what is your favorite app. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and if this is your first time here at the cafe, definitely let me know, and I'll go ahead and have Sonia unmute so we can go around and everyone introduce yourself.
Jenna from Colorado. I don't use one, but my husband uses Be My Eyes.
Okay, welcome, Janet.
Dana, Cincinnati. I use Aira and Be My Eyes.
This is Herbie in Houston. I use FaceTime when I need it.
Welcome, Herbie.
I'm Corey from Ontario, and I use Be My Eyes.
Welcome, Corey.
Misty Hagen, and I use Be My Eyes.
Okay.
This is Wesley again. It's my first time. I forgot to mention that.
And Wesley, how did you hear about the cafe?
I was in other iBUG events, so.
Okay, well, welcome. Thank you.
This is Sally from Oregon.
Welcome, Sally.
I use Be My Eyes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Raheel, and I use Aira, Be My Eyes, and FaceTime for all my communication and sighted needs.
Okay, great. Welcome. All right, who's next?
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yes, hi. My name is David, and I use right now is Aira and Be My Eyes.
Okay, great. Welcome, David.
And this is Hershey from Central Florida. I use Be My Eyes, and alternatively to FaceTime, I use Google Meet.
All right, welcome, Hershey.
Welcome.
Hi, Sree. This is Amanda from class, and I mostly use FaceTime.
Welcome, Amanda.
Terry from Arlington Heights, and I use all 3 actually.
All right, great. Welcome, Terry.
This is Dan from Southern California. I use Aira. That's my go-to app.
All right, welcome.
This is Ned from Texas, and I use Be My Eyes.
All right, welcome, Ned.
This is Atel from Chicago. I use Aira.
All right, welcome.
Hi, I'm Effie from Friendship Heights, Maryland. I'm not familiar with any of them.
All right, welcome. Is this your first time?
Yes.
And how did you hear about us?
Through a POB.
Okay, great.
This is Richard from Houston. I use Aira.
All right, welcome, Richard.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Carla from the UK. Arkansas.
All right,
Use Be My Eyes.
All right, welcome. I'm sorry, who's next?
It's Carla from the UK.
Hey, welcome.
Hi, and I use Be My Eyes or FaceTime, depending on who I'm talking to.
Yes, welcome. Great, thank you. All right, who's next?
Ray from Maine, and I don't use any of them.
Okay, welcome, Ray.
Dee from Southern Illinois, and I use Be My Eyes and Aira.
Okay, welcome.
Sarah from Missouri, FaceTime, Aira, first time here.
And how did you hear about us?
Mac training course.
All right. Hope you're enjoying that class, and welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, who's next?
Greg in Texas.
Okay, Liz, and I heard Greg. Liz, which one do you use?
When I need a sighted person, it depends upon how panicked I am and which button I can push first.
Okay, yeah. Yep. All right, Greg?
Yeah, I use Aira and Be My Eyes.
Okay, welcome. What about you, Julia? I know you're jumping in. I couldn't hear it, but what app do you use?
I don't use any of them.
You don't use any of them. Okay, all right. Anyone else?
Jody in New Hampshire, and I use FaceTime and Be My Eyes and Hello Sree.
Yeah, welcome.
I use Be My Eyes and sometimes FaceTime.
Okay, welcome. Michael, how about you?
Michael in Texas, and I use all three of the ones that you mentioned, and also I use Buddy.
I know that one. Okay.
He's the homeless guy at the train station.
All right. Well, this is Sree Roy. I'm from Virginia, and my go-to is my wife, and then I'll use the other apps if she's not around. Okay, so with this month being March Madness, with these three apps, it's going to help me spring forward. And these are like 3 pots of gold. So hopefully you understood those clues that I just talked about as to what happens in the month of March. All right, so with that said, after each presentation, we're going to open it up for questions and comments. During that time, you can unmute yourself, and then you'll state your name, and then I'll call upon you, and then you can ask your questions or make your comments. And then during that time, I kindly ask that everyone else stay muted until that conversation comes to a complete end. Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first presenter. Our first presenter is Terry-Ann Sorman. She, along with Sandhya, runs our mentor-mentee program. So if you're new to the iPhone and you want to learn more about it, definitely check that program out. So with that said, Terry-Ann, I'm going to go ahead and send the mic to you to get started with your presentation.
Thank you very much, Sree. By way of my introduction, I want to let you know of the spelling of this app that I'm going to be talking about. It's pronounced Aira. It's spelled A-I-R-A, Alpha, India, Romeo, Alpha. There seems to be some discrepancy as to whether or not it's an acronym for something. But so I just didn't even worry about trying to mention that. It is a remote access app, of course, whereby you can be in touch with a sighted individual for assistance when needed in that realm. And I really do want to thank the folks at Aira for their help. Aira is undergoing a lot of changes. I didn't mention that really very much on purpose because there are a lot of things that they're updating. I just mainly wanted to concentrate on what the app is and how to use it, that kind of thing. But they were very supportive because of the changes that they're making. And because of those changes, it became more challenging to put this presentation together because it's really been a moving target for several months. But it's a great app, and I hope that you will learn some things about it if you have used it that maybe you didn't know. And if you're not currently an Aira subscriber, maybe this will help you to make a decision about that and how to go about doing that. So with that, we'll go ahead with the presentation.
In the sky, I only have eyes for you.
We will begin this cafe with a demonstration of a visual interpreting service known as Aira, which utilizes vetted and trained agents who are employed and paid by Aira to provide on-demand access to visual information. Agents are used for reading, navigating, identifying, or describing. But what is visual interpreting, you ask? Well, it's where a sighted person, maybe it's a family member or a friend or a coworker, might assist you in fulfilling a specific task when, for whatever reason, your myriads of adaptive technology just doesn't do the job. But what if I don't want to bother a family member or a friend, you ask? Well, that's when you could call Aira, for example. To do this, though, you need to first download what is soon to be known as the Aira Explorer app. Not available for iDevices just yet, even though it is available for Android devices, but it soon will be. So you're going to download this Aira Explorer app to your iPhone from the App Store. And once you've installed it, you then will want to call Aira customer support to set up an account, including a profile, which lets Aira know how you plan to use the service and whether or not you want to use the 5 free minutes that are available to you every 48 hours, or whether you want to use one of several monthly paid plans. You then receive some training on how to use Aira on your phone, including how to position the phone's camera and to make sure that it's working properly. And then you are ready to make your first call and begin using the visual interpreting services of Aira, which might sound something like this.
Demo. Demonstrating Aira to friends button.
Okay, I'm going to double tap on that one to call Aira and hope they can help me with my problem here.
For up to 10 minutes at a time. Aira sponsors free service for explorers to demonstrate Aira's service to employers, people who are blind or have low vision, or anyone interested in Aira.
Swiping to the right.
Apply offer button.
Okay, let's see if there's anything else to the right of that.
Cancel button.
Okay.
Cancel button. Apply offer button.
So I swipe to the left, double tap.
Applied. Help button. Free offer applied button. Call Aira for free from phone button.
Okay.
Double tap to call Aira agent. Call Aira. Calling agent.
Thank you for calling Aira. This is Nick. What would you like to use today?
Oh, Nick, I hope you can help me. I'm just absolutely beside myself. I am a member of the iBlind users group, which uses an acronym of iBUG today, and the vice president of iBUG today, which is based out of Houston, Texas. She's really into ladybugs. And she let me borrow these wonderful ladybug sunglasses to try, and I promised her that I would take such good care of them. But now I seem to have misplaced them. And the thing is, we do a lot of recorded Zoom sessions. And so she likes perfect recordings. And so if there's the least bit of background noise, she presses that mute button just to, get rid of all that background noise. She's become known as the maven of the mute button. And if she finds out that I have misplaced her iBug ladybug sunglasses, I'm afraid she's going to mute me forever. And I just don't want that to happen. So I'm hoping you can help me to find them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see, if I point my camera toward the floor, I don't know if I dropped them there.
Gotcha. Nothing here. Maybe left and right a little bit.
Okay.
Nothing here.
Nothing there.
ladybug sunglasses, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I had to answer a phone call and I got distracted and I don't know what happened to them.
Gotcha. Could you do me a favor? Turn the camera around. I just want to check one thing real quick. Maybe they're on top of your
Okay.
head.
What? Wait. You mean? Are they? Do you see them?
You know what? That looks like them.
Oh my gosh, they're so light. I must have absent-mindedly. I know when I went to answer the call, I put the phone up to my ear and I must have hurriedly moved the glasses to the top of my head so they wouldn't get in the way of the phone. Oh my gosh, I feel so silly now. This must be the dumbest call you have ever received.
No worries.
Oh, but thank you, Nick, so much for your help. I so appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. Well, I think you've helped me to solve the problem, but can I ask one more favor?
Yeah.
If Sandhya ever calls into Aira and you happen to talk with her, please don't tell her that I misplaced her glasses or she will mute me forever.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Well, thanks again so much.
Of course, no problem.
Okay, now I've ended the call. Oh, I'm so glad he helped me to find him because, oh my goodness, I don't even want to think of the consequences. But anyway, so now I have an opportunity to rate Nick and the call. Let's see what we have here.
Skip feedback. Skip feedback.
So
button.
all the way to the left is a skip feedback button. If I swipe to the right one time.
Feedback. Heading.
Okay, we have a feedback heading.
Submit button.
Then there's a submit button if I didn't want to give him any feedback, but I do because he was wonderful.
Your call was free. Thanks to Aira Tech Corp. How did Nick do?
Okay, now we're to the rating part. I'm swiping to the right again.
Good button. 1 of 2.
Okay, so good.
Poor button. 2 of 2.
Well, I don't want to give him a poor rating because he really was good. So I'm going to swipe back to the left to the good rating.
Good button. 1 of 2. Selected. Good. 1 of 2.
I double tapped it to select it. Now I'm going to swipe to the right.
Poor button. 2 of 2.
Again to the right.
Comment multi-line text field. Text field. Double tap to edit.
Okay, so I'm going to put in a comment here, and what I will do is double tap on it to bring up the edit field.
Comment multi-line text field. Text field is editing. Word mode. Insertion point at start.
All right, and I'm going to put in the in there a couple of sentences about how well he did. All right, so now that is done. So now I'm going to swipe to the right again.
Submit button.
Now there's another submit button, and I believe this is the last button. I'm going to swipe to the right once more.
Cap Q.
Yep, so there's the keyboard again because I'm still in the edit field. So I'm going to swipe back to the left.
Submit button.
And I'm going to double tap on the submit button.
Thanks for your help.
And it should say thanks for your feedback, but it goes away so quickly that VoiceOver doesn't have a chance to read it. And so there is an example of visual interpreting using Aira's visual interpreting service, whereby an Aira user like myself calls an Aira agent to get help, in this case, in finding Sandhya's ladybug sunglasses. Next, I'm going to have Aira's Director of Customer Communication, Janine Stanley, give you a tour of the new login and home screen, which will be part of the new Aira Explorer app for the iPhone.
Welcome to Aira Explorer. First, we'll review the login process. It's similar to the login process on our original app. You can sign in with a phone number, or in the Aira Explorer app, you can sign in with an email address. I'll start at the upper left corner of my phone screen. I'm using an iPhone for this demo. However, Aira is using a new code base so that this app is going to look the same on both an iPhone or an Android device. There may be small variations per phone type. We'll start at the upper left corner of the screen once you've opened the Aira Explorer app.
Welcome to Aira.
Single finger swipe to the right.
Visual assistance on demand. Let's get started. If you don't have an account, we'll create one for you. It's free. Sign in with phone number button. Sign in with email button. Still curious about Aira? Learn how Aira works button.
This button will take you to our website where we have a brief description of how visual interpreting works through the Aira app.
Contact us button.
And there is our Contact Us button, which will take you to the Contact Us page on our website, which provides you with phone numbers for all of the regions in which we are active.
Terms of service button. Privacy policy button.
And there are our terms of service and privacy policies. Those are both external links that will take you to our website. I'm going to go ahead and put my phone number in.
Sign in with phone number button.
Double tap.
Country, United States, +1 selected button.
Here is the box to select your country code. I'm going to do a single finger double tap.
Dismiss.
And show you all of the country codes that we have by doing a single finger swipe right.
United States, Canada, +1 button. United Kingdom, +44 button. Australia, +61 button. New Zealand, +64 button. Ireland, +353 button.
I'll go back and select US.
Dismiss. United States, +1. United Country, United States, +1 selected button.
And if you want to select a different code, you simply do a single finger double tap. But let's do that swipe right.
Phone number, text field, is editing. Insertion point at start.
And I'll put in my phone number. All right, I have my phone number. I will swipe right.
Next button.
Double tap.
Loading. Enter the 4-digit code sent to you at 614.
I'm going to go ahead and read this screen by starting up at the top and swiping right. You're going to land in the box where you can put your code, though.
Enter the 4-digit code sent to you at 614. Didn't receive a code. Resend code button. Sign in another way button.
And that sign in another way button takes you back so that you can sign in via email. But let's go back up to the box to input the code.
Enter the 4-digit code sent to you at 614. Loading. Home heading.
And when you put the code in, you don't even have to hit enter. You just type those 4 digits and you are now on the home screen. We're going to take a brief look at the home screen and we'll go into each of the parts of the home screen separately. So starting at the upper left corner, I'm going to do a single finger swipe right.
Change profile. Janine Stanley, personal button.
This is your profile button. If you happen to have a separate profile for home and work and school, etc., this is where it will be located. And it is actually in the upper right corner of the screen. I'm going to go ahead and do a single finger double tap.
Dismiss.
And single finger swipe right.
Janine Stanley, personal, selected button. Aira team accommodation, business button.
And I'll go ahead and switch into my business profile by doing a single finger double tap.
Home heading.
And this has taken me back to the home screen. Single finger swipe right.
Change profile. Aira team accommodation, business button.
And that's how you know that your profile has been changed. In the middle of the screen is, of course, the large
Call an Aira agent button.
That's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to do a single finger swipe right.
Attach message or files button.
This is our new messaging feature with the ability to attach files. You can share files with your agent back and forth much easier than emailing them back and forth to each other.
Browse access offers button.
Browse our access offers right here on the front page. We've reorganized our access offer screen a bit.
Configure devices button.
You can configure devices.
Selected. Home. Tab 1 of 4 button.
There are 4 tabs across the bottom, as with our original app, but they've changed a little bit. So we're now on the Home tab.
Usage. Tab 2 of 4 button.
This tab gives you a richer usage experience.
About You. Tab 3 of 4 button.
About You replaces the profile portion of the More tab, so you can easily get to your personal information to make any changes.
More. Tab 4 of 4 button.
And here we have the More tab. And as with our original app, the More tab has lots of information, which we will go into in a separate module.
Because she can do a far better job of this than can I, especially with this new app that's soon to be available for the iPhone. I'm going to ask Janine to talk about the access offer screen, where you can take advantage of free access minutes from Aira access locations in your area, which are paid for by the location or by a company, such as Starbucks, Target, Bank of America, Walgreens, AT&T, more than 50 airports throughout the world, transit systems, subways and transit stops, and the entire state of Connecticut, believe it or not. Take it away, Janine.
Let's take a look at our newly reorganized access offer screen. From the main screen, we'll swipe to
Browse Access Offers button.
Browse Access Offers and do a single finger double tap.
Back button.
Single finger swipe right.
Access Offers heading. Search Access Offers ellipsis text field.
This is a more robust search than we've had in the past, and it will search all of the access offers at once. Let's look at the rest of the screen.
Recently used.
This is similar to the original app. You'll see your recently used offers here.
No free offers recently used. Categories, promotions and partners. Task and situation-based calls button.
And you'll see here that we've combined the promotions and products tab from our old app into just a list of our promotions and partners.
Locations. Offer will apply automatically with GPS button.
And these are the location-based offers like airports, Starbucks, Target, etc., where you're actually in the location of the offer. I'll go back up to search and add some search criteria.
Search access offers.
And we'll type in Ohio State, hit enter.
Found 11 access offers.
Single finger swipe right.
Clear search access offers, ellipse, promotions and partners. Ohio State University Online. For use with students, staff, and alum of Ohio State University button. Locations. Ohio State University, 5.75 miles, 352 W. Doddridge Street button. OSU Ohio State Family Medicine Thomas Rardin, 6.12 miles. Ohio State University, 6.36 miles.
So here are your search results. You can go on down through all of these. And let's say I tap on one of these.
Ohio State University, 6.37 miles, 660 Ackerman Road button. Back button. Ohio State University, heading. 660 Ackerman Road, Calamus, Ohio, 43202. A free offer is automatically applied to your next call when you're at this location. This relies on GPS accuracy. Cancel button. Home, heading.
And we're back to our home screen.
I know there are many of you out there who are listening to this demonstration who use Aira. I like Aira because its agents are trustworthy. They have to be vetted. They're interviewed. The interview process is very tough. They don't just take anybody who says, oh, I'd like to become a paid Aira agent. They're vetted, they're trained. I feel comfortable, therefore, in asking help with reading credit card numbers if I get a new credit card and I need that number. I don't want just anyone to see that number. They are sworn to secrecy, if you will. They have to promise never to reveal information when they assist customers who call in. I mean, so it's a very trustworthy way to do visual interpreting of information. And you know you're not bothering them because they want you to call. Sometimes when you ask a family member for help, it's, I can't help you right now. You'll never hear that from an Aira agent. You call, that Aira agent is ready and waiting to perform whatever tasks of a visual interpreting nature that you might have. So that's really the main reason that I like to use Aira. All I have to do is open the app on my phone and voila, I can hear those tones and have an Aira agent say, what would you like to do today? And I'm on my way to independently solving a problem or completing a task that I might not be able to complete otherwise. For a complete breakdown of what the Aira Visual Interpreting Service is all about and the many ways in which you can interact with Aira agents and with fellow users, I invite you to visit the Aira website at www.aira.io. You can email customer care at support@aira.io. You can send Aira customer care team a good old-fashioned letter in the mail. You can write to the Aira customer care team at Aira Tech Corp, 3 words, that's AIRA Tech, TECH, Corp, CORP. The address is 3451 Via Montebello. That would be 3451 Via, VIA, new word Montebello, Montebello, and they're located in Carlsbad, California. Carlsbad is spelled CARLS, as in Sierra, B as in Bravo, A, D as in Delta, Carlsbad, CA, and the zip is 92009. And you can call them in such countries as the US and Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and Ireland, and each of those countries has a toll-free number, so you'll want to consult the website for those. And you can check out Aira on any number of social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and one of the newest ones, Mastodon. This has been a demonstration of the Aira Visual Interpreting Service app. I'm Terry Sauerman. Thanks for listening.
Calling agent.
All right, Terry Ann, thank you very much. Great presentation. Greatly appreciate it. So now we're going to go ahead and open it to some questions that you want to ask about Aira. Once again, just unmute yourself, state your name, and I'll call upon you, and then you can present your question or make your comment. So,
this is Jody.
Yeah, Jody, go ahead.
Hi, Sree. Thank you, Terry. Could you tell us how much the membership is and the different membership categories?
Yes, well, that's the thing. They now have 3 levels at 3 different tiers. So in effect, there are 9 price points. They've increased the cost per minute. It goes in increments of minutes. So for 30 minutes now, I believe it is I want to say $65 for 30 minutes of help, and that you would pay monthly, and then it goes up from there. And as I say, there are 3 different levels, and they are based partly upon the number of minutes you want to use, and there are currently some factors so that people are being their memberships from 2022 are being grandfathered in. So it's kind of hard to answer that question specifically. So the best thing to do would be to consult the website, where there is a table that lists the number of the cost per minute or the cost per number of minutes, as well as information regarding what it would cost if you were like a business partner, what they're charged. There's it's a pretty extensive table because there are many factors that play into what the cost might be. And if you still have more questions, of course, you can always be in touch, call or email customer care, and they can help you to specifically answer that question based upon what your needs might be.
This is
Thank
Jody. I
you.
got one more question.
Yeah, Jody.
Do the minutes roll over if you don't use them?
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Some do, some don't. The monthly minutes, as I understand it right now, do not, but you can buy add-on minutes, which come into play once your monthly minutes have been used up, and those additional minutes do roll over from 1 month to the next.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
Raheel,
go ahead, Raheel.
when I navigate around the airport to get ready to go to Houston at the end of June and I want to test Aira instead of using Escort, could I hold my phone like by my right shoulder and navigate, or what do I have to do, or what would you recommend when I use Aira?
I would recommend, there are now various types of, they call them chest mounts that you can purchase at a pretty reasonable cost. Of course, I realize that's all relative, but what you want to do is hold your camera pretty much straight out in front of you. Hold your phone. It needs to be positioned so that the camera is straight out in front of you. And it's the camera, right now, it's the camera that is on the screen side of the phone. However, they are going to soon be implementing a way to choose between the front or the back camera. So you can use a lanyard type device that with a little holder that you put your phone into, and it positions it in the proper way that it needs to be so that an Aira agent can actually see what is in front of you, and also to your left and to your right, and to some degree up and down. And then, of course, if you need to reposition your phone for any reason, the agent can help you. But using an agent to navigate an airport, a train station, because I have done this, is a wonderful way to use an Aira agent so that you can independently navigate unfamiliar areas.
Okay, and do they must sell those at Walmart or Target, right? Or is it only Amazon that I should try?
I know about them from Amazon. I don't know about them from the stores you've mentioned, but that doesn't mean they don't have something there. And again, I think Aira is keeping tabs of these kinds of mounts of these types of devices. So if you looked on Amazon and maybe you didn't find what you were looking for, or because there are a number of them available on Amazon, you might want to call Aira customer care and find out what they're recommending, or what's the most commonly used device for this purpose right now.
All right, thank you.
This is Dan.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. As you pointed out, Terry, they're going to be coming out with a new app, and I'm using the current app. So how do I transition? Does it do I have to just delete my current app once the new one comes out, or does it just automatically upgrade?
I don't know the answer to that, unfortunately. My understanding is that when the new one comes out, the old one will be available for a very short time. But I believe I read just the other day that when the new one comes out, what you'll need to do is upgrade to it. But you won't have to delete, the old app, but it's just like if you do an upgrade of any other kind of app, I mean, there are a number of ways you can do that. You can delete the old one or unload it from your phone and then put the new one in, or you can just do an upgrade, or if your phone does an automatic upgrade, it in theory it should upgrade it to the new app.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
This is Herbie.
Herbie, do you want to hold off with your question, or do you want to make a quick comment?
Well, just kind of a quick comment. We're talking about using Aira in situations like airports, but I wonder if the thing that would concern me the most, and I don't know if Aira's addressed this, like, aren't you at risk for somebody just yanking the phone off of your head if you're wearing it around, like using a lanyard or whatever?
Go ahead, Sree.
I was going to say, I don't know if we have the right answer for that, because, anything can always be taken from somebody. So I think it's a convenience question, really. But let's move on. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next presenter. So our next presenter is Herbie Allen. Herbie wears lots of hats here at iBUG today. He also runs he facilitates one of our programs, as well as as what Sonia mentioned before, he's our Twitter master. So Herbie, I'm going to pass the mic to you if you have any introduction on part of your presentation.
All right, thank you, Sree, and good afternoon, everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about Facetime, F-A-C-E space T-I. Actually, I think it's all one word, but it is an app that is built into your phone. And it is a part of all phones going back to the iPhone 4. And I was using it long before we had the conveniences of the services like Aira and Be My Eyes. A couple of things I do need to address that were mentioned in my presentation. One, the issue of can you use FaceTime with an Apple TV? And I did find out from Sree, who's an Apple TV user, that there is a way, and that is if you screen share your phone with your Apple TV, then you can use it that way. And also, of course, I do mention the fact that, FaceTime is completely free, and I do want to point out that I do realize that, of course, Aira does have its free plans, as Terry mentioned, but they do have, of course, like that 10 limitation, or if you fit certain criteria, whereas FaceTime is universally free. So I just wanted to make that clarification. All right, let's roll it.
The first time ever I saw your face.
Why FaceTime when we live in an era of Be My Eyes and Aira? FaceTime gives you the advantage of being able to work with somebody who you know and who you are probably more likely going to trust versus dealing with a complete stranger. Now, I realize that everybody's situation is different, of course, but for me at least, I definitely prefer working with my sighted mom who I know, and I'd much rather work with her and have her read me credit card information and things like that than have to trust a complete stranger. That being said, Aira agents, of course, are background checked and vetted and all that. But still, you have the advantage of being able to work with somebody who you know for free. FaceTime uses the internet, so that means so long as you and the person who you are calling has an internet connection, you can be anywhere in the world and it does not matter. So if you have a friend who's across the street, or maybe you have a family member who is halfway across the globe, you can talk to them for free because, like the other services, including Zoom, which we are on right now, FaceTime is completely internet-based. And I realized that what can also throw people off is, by default, you usually use a person's phone number to FaceTime them, but that is just a point of identification. It does not matter what their phone number is or anything like that. Thanks to recent changes with Apple, you don't even have to have an iPhone anymore. FaceTime can be done with PC and Android users as well, and I will show you how to accomplish that later on in this demonstration. But FaceTime has some other advantages too, in addition to just being able to use the video aspect to identify things or whatnot. For one thing, you get excellent audio quality. And while phone conversations have definitely improved lately, there's still something to be said for the overall audio quality of FaceTime. So whether you're doing FaceTime audio or FaceTime video, you get that advantage that you just don't always get with the phone. And of course, with FaceTime video, you also get the advantage of just being able to do a regular video chat with somebody. Maybe you're wanting to do a family get-together, or maybe you just haven't seen somebody in a long time. Whatever the reason, FaceTime is a very powerful tool that you can have in your toolbox. I am going to show you the three major aspects of FaceTime: FaceTime audio, FaceTime regular, and group FaceTime. Let's start by talking about FaceTime audio. It will work on most of your Apple devices. The only exception that I am aware of is the Apple TV. But if you're an Apple TV user and you have successfully used FaceTime, then definitely let me know when we get to the Q&A part of this. It will work, though, like I said, on all the other devices: iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, HomePod Mini, that type of thing. And that, unlike the regular FaceTime, is actually restricted to the Apple ecosystem. One other thing to note with FaceTime audio is you have to be specific with Siri that you want to do a FaceTime audio call. And so if you want to, let's say, Sree, you would tell your device, if you were using the S Lady, to make a FaceTime audio call to Sree, and it would know to do a FaceTime audio call. So you get all the audio aspects of FaceTime without the video component, and that is a simple screen layout. You've got your mute, your end button, and also you can, with the call waiting aspect of the phone, by dealing with the control panel that comes up when you get an incoming call. Let's talk about now how to make sure FaceTime as a whole is going to work on your phone. You are going to find FaceTime in the settings, first of all, and that is where we will start. It is a ways down, and you'll find it between Safari and Messages as you swipe through the settings menu. So let's take a look here.
Allow FaceTime to access. Heading.
Allow FaceTime to access.
Siri and search. Button.
If you want to be able to use Siri with FaceTime, you want to make sure that it has access to Siri.
Notifications. Immediate. Announce.
This can be an important thing because you want to make sure that you do get instantly notified if somebody's calling you.
Incoming calls. Full screen. Button.
Incoming calls, full screen. This is highly recommended because if you have the smaller screen, it's a lot harder to find your answer and decline buttons and all that.
Announce calls. Headphones only. Button. FaceTime. On.
FaceTime, of course, needs to be on.
People can contact you on all your devices with FaceTime. You can be reached by FaceTime at. Heading.
Do you want to enable all your addresses to be able to receive FaceTime calls? This can really come in handy to people that have multiple addresses, but there could be situations where maybe you have a different address tied to a different account, and so you wouldn't want that linked up. But here's where you can adjust that.
Selected. +1.
And you heard it say selected, so that indicates it is an option that is enabled.
Selected. Selected.
And we are just going through all the email addresses that I have.
Caller ID. Heading.
Caller ID. What do you want your FaceTime outbound to look like?
Selected. +1.
You can only choose one here. I have it showing as my phone number. I think that's the least confusing, but you could have it reflect as an email address instead. This is especially useful if you have an older device or an iPad that does not have phone support and you do not have an iPhone and therefore no phone number linked with your account. You might be limited then to just the email options, but you have your choice here.
Herbie, man, Apple ID, Share Play, button.
So this just lets us enable or disable SharePlay. SharePlay is a very interesting feature and one you get with regular FaceTime. You do not get it with FaceTime audio. What it will allow you to do with apps that support the feature is listen to something together in real time. So let's say if you want to watch a movie on Disney Plus and everybody in the group call, whether it's 2 or 5 people all have the Disney Plus app, then they can open the app and enable the share play feature and all watch the movie in sync with each other. And this is something I have honestly not had an opportunity to really use, so I won't be able to talk much about that feature beyond that.
FaceTime, back button. Face, automatic prominence, heading, speaking, off. During group FaceTime calls, the tile of the person speaking will automatically become larger.
I found this to be visual and not a bit of help to me at all, so I figured just turn this off and have my screen doing one less thing. But this is something you would only deal with in a group FaceTime call.
Live captions beta, on.
Live captions. This is an interesting thing. I don't know if you have it on your phones yet or not. You would see this when doing a FaceTime video call because I am running an iOS beta. But what this tries to do is create a text transcript of what is being said. I really don't need this myself.
Off.
So I'm going to turn that off.
Your iPhone will use on-device intelligence to automatically display captions in FaceTime. Accuracy of live captions may vary and should not be relied upon in high-risk or emergency situations.
It is worth noting, though, that this feature is accessible with VoiceOver, and I actually did play with it the other day just a tiny bit, and it did give me an idea of what the other person was saying.
FaceTime live photos, on.
FaceTime live photos.
Allow live photos to be captured during a FaceTime video call.
I'm not quite sure what the purpose of this is. I think it lets you take a photo of the FaceTime conversation. I will tell you that I've not really played with this myself.
Eye contact, heading. Eye contact, off. Establish natural eye contact while on FaceTime.
I don't know anything about this, except it sounds very visual.
Calls, heading. Block contacts, button.
I can see blocked contacts, and that's all for the FaceTime settings. One other thing I would like to mention real quickly for iPad and Mac users, you may want to do an additional step under the phone settings, which is allow calls on other devices. And what this will do is it will allow you to use the FaceTime app on the iPad and the Mac to make and receive regular phone calls. So that can really be a useful thing to enable for people with those devices. There are several ways to initiate a FaceTime call. The first thing I will mention is I actually do not use the FaceTime app itself much because there are other methods that are just a lot easier of initiating a FaceTime call. I can go through contacts, or I can use Sree, or I could add a FaceTime option to my favorites if I so desire. But let's take a quick look at the FaceTime app.
FaceTime, edit, button. FaceTime, heading. Create link, button.
Create link is the final thing that I'm going to talk about, but this is the method you will use if you want to have either group FaceTime calls or do FaceTime with somebody who is not an Apple user.
New FaceTime, button.
Here you can start a new FaceTime call.
Yesterday, heading.
And then you can see your recent FaceTime calls.
Laura Cornwell, yesterday. FaceTime audio, button.
And I can
Actions
see that
available.
I talked to Laura Cornwell yesterday, and it was a FaceTime audio call. Let's take a look at the bottom part of the app.
More info, button. Doug Oliver, 10 FaceTime link, 12 FaceTime link, previous years, Heading.
So as you can see, there really is not much here at the bottom of the app. Unfortunately, I don't really have a good way of showing you what to expect while in a FaceTime call, but I'm going to mention some things that you need to know right away. Let's start off with another key difference between FaceTime audio and a regular FaceTime call. And by regular FaceTime, I do mean the FaceTime with the video. FaceTime audio acts like a regular phone call. So this means by default, it is going to go to the earpiece of your phone, unless of course you are wearing some kind of headset, then it'll use that instead. And if you have the default settings enabled, where you move the phone away from your ear and it goes to speaker, FaceTime will follow that pattern, FaceTime audio that is. FaceTime video, on the other hand, because it is not meant to be used as a phone, is always going to start with either your speakerphone, if you don't have any headphones plugged in, or it of course will go through your headphones if you have them plugged in or are using Bluetooth. But you cannot switch a FaceTime video call to the earpiece of your phone. The other important question and thing that you need to know is what camera is FaceTime using. So the reason why it is called FaceTime is the idea is to be able to let you see the other person and they are supposed to be able to see you as well. And so this means by default, it's always going to start with your front facing camera. And that is the camera that's on the screen side of the phone. And I don't remember its exact location. I think it's like in the upper right hand corner of your phone, but that's where a call is always going to start. This is great for just general video chat or whatever, but my recommendation from my experiences, if you are using FaceTime for the purposes of having somebody help you with something, it is better to flip to the back camera, which you'll find a button for at the bottom of the FaceTime screen. This is a higher definition camera and will offer the other person a much better view than what they will get with the front facing camera. And this, by the way, is regardless of which iPhone model you have. The back facing camera is always the higher definition camera. I recommend you do that when you're using FaceTime for the purposes of reading a credit card or looking at something in your kitchen or whatever. The back-facing camera seems to offer a person the much better view. You can also turn off the camera if you find yourself in a FaceTime video call and you want to talk to the other person but you don't want to be seen. There is a button to turn off the camera within the screen of the FaceTime. However, that will not let you use the phone's earpiece. You still have to do a FaceTime audio call for that. So just make note of that you can disable the camera and you can always turn it back on again. You also have options for mute. Another button that you're going to see is audio routing. This is useful for if you need a third-party way of rerouting the audio to, let's say, your speakerphone. Maybe you don't have the feature on in VoiceOver where it moves away from your ear and it'll switch devices. Or you might want to switch it to your HomePod and you have hit or miss luck with using the method of tapping the phone onto the AirPod and transferring audio that way. So that is what the audio routing is for, or to another AirPlay device that might show up in the FaceTime window. One other thing I do want to talk about, if you use EarPods, and these are the plug-in headphones, or if you use AirPods for that matter, you will notice that your FaceTime video calls will have a stereo effect. And you're probably thinking, all right, this is either super annoying or super cool. And Herbie, you're going to be going for super cool because you got like the stereo mic set up and all that. I honestly have to tell you, I don't like it for individual FaceTime calls. It's fine for group FaceTime, which I'll talk more about that in a second, but for individual, it's a little bit interesting, and I kind of have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it. But if you do not want that stereo effect and you're not worried about the video, then FaceTime audio for the most part, will not have that. I want to say on the AirPods 2, though, not only does it have the stereo, but it also does the spatial audio as well now, where if you move your head to the left, it'll go to the left and vice versa. But the idea behind that was for group FaceTime calls. And what it is supposed to do is when you have multiple people in a group, you should have one person on your left, one person on your right. That, I will admit, is kind of cool. And it does make it a lot easier to identify where people are. And unlike Clubhouse, they don't move. They just stay in the one spot throughout the call. Actually, I take that back. Clubhouse no longer seems to support that feature, but I am digressing. One other thing to know about FaceTime group calls is that you do have to use the link method if you want to create a conference FaceTime. You cannot be in an individual FaceTime call and add in another person that way. They have to click on the link that you give them. Group calls is just one of two reasons why you would use a FaceTime link. The other reason is, let's say you have a friend who is an Android user and you'd like to be able to use FaceTime. Well, they do not have a built-in FaceTime app, so the link is something that you can send them via messages, mail, whatnot. They click on it and they have to look for the join button, and now they are part of the FaceTime call. So, how do we create said link? I will be more than happy to show you. I will say, first of all, that I don't think this is something you can use Sree for. You do have to go into the FaceTime app.
FaceTime. Head Create Link button.
And we're going to go to Create Link.
FaceTime link. Add name button.
So here I can add a name to the group if I want.
Close button.
Or the link or whatever it's going to be.
Herbert's MacBook Pro AirDrop button.
And now I've got options to share the link with other people.
Let's play add FaceTime link.
So if I
add
go
name.
to add name.
Add name. Alert. Add name. Text field is editing. Insert. Cap T. Cap E E S S T T O I I B N N Y T G G. Okay. Button.
All right. I'm not
Dismiss
using my braille
pop-up.
screen input here for
Okay.
this.
Okay. But add name button. Close. Herbert's MacBook. Let's play Dice War.
Let's
Herbert's
see if I
MacBook
can
Pro.
airdrop this link to
Herbert's
myself.
MacBook Pro. AirDrop.
Copying the link in the end
Last
just
mother,
proved more
Monday.
effective. Okay, thank you,
FaceTime.
phone. So now I'm back to my main FaceTime screen, and I'm just going to swipe to the right.
New FaceTime. Testing. FaceTime button.
So I'm going to double tap
Action.
this link.
Testing. FaceTime button. Testing. More info. Selected. Audio route. Mute. Off. Camera. On. Join call button.
So I have to look for this join call button, and I can see that my mute is off, my camera is on. If I wanted that off, I could turn it off. I'm going to join the call.
Join call. Testing. Waiting. More info. Selected. Audio route. Mute. Camera. Share. Leave call. But FaceTime call.
And I can leave the FaceTime call with that button.
Me. But effects. But flip to back camera. But
And there's my flip to back camera button.
flip to back camera.
More info.
And I just did the magic tap to leave the call. And that's pretty much it with FaceTime. The other person just needs to click on the link that you give them, and they hit the join call, and they will see similar options.
All right, Herbie, thank you very much for that presentation. Definitely got some FaceTime knowledge out of that. So we're going to open it up to questions. Once again, you're going to state your name. I'll call upon you. Then you can ask your question. So Sonia, if you can just unmute everyone and we'll get started.
This is Ted.
Yeah, go ahead, Ted.
Yeah, Herbie, you mentioned that you could use this on the PC, but you did not mention in the demo. Is Apple allowing FaceTime on Windows-based computers now?
So I thought I did make this clear in the demo. You have to, it has to be initiated by an Apple user, and they have to give you as a PC user, the link to click on, and
okay.
so it'll open in your browser, and then you can hit the join button.
Out of this. All right. Any questions about FaceTime on the iOS? Herbert, I did have one question. So when you use FaceTime, you said you can use the magic tap to double tap. Can you use that to initiate the call too on the other end?
You mean like if somebody's calling you?
Yeah, let's just say.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that FaceTime. So when you get a FaceTime call, it works exactly like a phone call. And, I went through the settings of the making sure you have the full screen stuff enabled so that way it will behave the exact same way as you would expect from a phone call. The one difference is FaceTime calls will ring longer and will not go to voicemail, but you'll get a notification saying so and so tried to FaceTime you. And
do you know with FaceTime, you mentioned about taking a picture. So is that being taken, like if you're getting support, let's say I'm FaceTiming my wife, she wants to see something. I guess I initiate taking the picture, or does she initiate taking the picture?
I've not really played with it, but I've understood it to be that you're the one to take the picture.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. I've honestly not really played with that feature much, though there's a couple times it might have come in handy to really play with that. So
yeah, I could see some advantage with that. Okay, great. Thank you.
It's Kathy.
Yeah, go ahead, Kathy.
Any idea what the color situation is? Like, if you're asking somebody to look at clothing, are they going to get a clear picture of the colors? Is it?
So this is Herbie.
Yeah, go ahead, Herbie.
As with anything, this is where you just need to work with the person who's helping you. There's going to be a lot of factors, of course, such as lighting and how you aim the camera and things like that. But I would much rather trust a live person with that type of thing than an automated system, as they are going to be able to see details and make a real human judgment on what they are seeing.
This is Sree. I would completely agree with that. I'm a person who likes to wear my clothes matching and stuff. I always have to get a live person to tell me. I usually get my wife on the phone and say, hey, does this look cool, or am I out in left field with stuff? And I'm getting that with a much better response than I would with using like an app to do color identification.
This is Sonia.
Yeah, Sonia.
Yeah, so Kathy, the only thing is when you ask family, they will tell you the honest opinion. So if it looks bad, they'll say, my
Yes.
sister will say, it looks terrible, don't wear that. So anyway, but
Yeah.
I use that a lot to get help with clothes.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with the last presentation. I'm going to be doing a presentation on the Be My Eyes app. I do want to make just one quick thing, is that when I say a double tap or swipe right, I'm using one finger. Otherwise, I will indicate how many fingers I am using to perform that gesture.
The message is perfectly simple. Be near me. Be near. Be near me. Be near.
Namaste. This is Sree. Yes, my theme is Be Near Me. I'm very fortunate to have my wife and my daughter be near me when I need some assistance. And I do realize there'll be plenty other times when my wife or my daughter will not be around. And if I have to perform a very delicate but complex task, such as pouring some milk onto my cereal bowl without overfilling it, then my message is perfectly simple. If I need to perform a task and I need to have someone be near me, then I have to say my go-to app has to be My Eyes. The app is spelled BEMYEYES, and I can download this app absolutely free from the App Store. And you might say, Sree, well, a lot of these apps we can download for free. But at Be My Eyes, not only can you download the app for free, but you can use the app as many times as you want, and it's also at zero cost. So who is Be My Eyes? Be My Eyes is a Danish company that was founded in 2015 by its co-founder Hans Jørgen Weiber, who's also visually impaired. Now let's take a look at some impressive numbers at Be My Eyes. As of today, they support 185 different languages. And from 2022 to 2023, the number of visually impaired users that are logged into the Be My Eyes app grew from over 300,000 to over 450,000. And during the same time period, the number of sighted volunteers that are assisting the Be My Ice app grew from just under 5 million to over 6 million as of today. And probably the most impressive number for you and me is the fact that this app doesn't cost us a penny because it's absolutely free to use. As I mentioned before, when my family's not around and I need someone to be near me, I'll launch the Be My Ice app. And this will generate a live video conference with a sighted volunteer. And what is my expectation with a volunteer? And that really depends on me and how comfortable I am in asking the question. But a volunteer is available 24/7, 365 days. And if I do have a specialized concern that a general volunteer cannot answer, then I'll reach out to the specialized group that Be My Ice has partnered with. And for all this to work, all I need to do is have access to the internet and have the app installed. So what is on the app? Well, there are two buttons. One is Call a Volunteer button, and second is Browse a Specialized Help button. When I do call a volunteer, it launches the rear camera on my device, and the volunteer will see what's on the rear camera. So why do I feel Be My Ice is a great app? I'm going to give you 3 reasons as to why I enjoy using the Be My Ice app. First, I'm able to reach a volunteer who understands my language, and that's because Be My Ice supports 185 different languages. Second, I'm able to get my independence, and that's because I know that I'll always have someone be near me. And third, probably the most important one, is that I'm able to address my issue right then and there. That's because a sighted volunteer is available 24/7, 365. And with the use of the camera, the sighted volunteer can guide me to address the issue just by looking at it. Otherwise, I'd be sitting there twiddling my thumb, waiting and waiting and waiting for one of my family members to come and assist me. Now let's take a look at how a volunteer can help me solve some problems by using the Be My Ice app. They can read labels, they can help read the markers on an appliance, they can read what's on my computer screen, they can help read the menu, they can help me when I'm at a kiosk, they can help me read the digital display, they can help me sort things, they can pick colors, make sure that my clothes are matching, and most importantly, they can make sure that I don't overspill my milk on my cereal bowl. There may be a time when I encounter a problem, I'll need to make a decision whether I want to call a volunteer or reach out to a specialized service group. But if I do reach out to a specialized service group, some of these groups are not open 24/7 or that their service is available worldwide. And keep in mind, most of these specialized services only offer English as well as a few other languages. And finally, I'll go over each of the specialized services that's available in the Be My Ice app a little bit later on. So how does all of this work? Well, in order for you to become a Be My Ice volunteer, you must be at least 17 years of age. And these calls are routed based on daytime time zone as well as the primary language that's configured on the Be My Ice app. The average time for calls to be answered is somewhere around 15 seconds. And keep in mind, this is a one-way video as well as a two-way audio between the volunteer and myself. Now let's take a look at what I need to do to make sure that my experience with the sighted volunteer is a pleasant one. First, I need to make sure that I'm in a well-lit area as well as I limit my exterior noise. Second, I need to make sure that my internet connection is good. Third, I need to introduce myself in a pleasant manner and make sure that my question to the sighted volunteer is very clear. Fourth, when I position my camera, I want to make sure that I ask the volunteer, do I need to move it up, down, left, right, away, or towards what I need the sighted volunteer to see. And most importantly, I need to make sure that our conversation is one way. And what I mean by that is I need to make sure that we don't talk over each other. So what can I experience during an active call with my sighted volunteer? The sighted volunteer can turn my flashlight on or take a screenshot. But once the call is ended, the screenshot is automatically deleted. Once the call is finished, both the sighted volunteer and myself will be able to rate the call as either being good or bad, which I'll describe in more detail a little bit later on when I do a demo. Now let's take a look at some accessories that might be beneficial while I'm engaged with a sighted volunteer. The use of a portable scanning stand, which allows the sighted volunteer to see the document clearly. To have my hands free, I can attach my phone to a lanyard which is around my neck. Or I can attach my phone to a gooseneck stand, which allows me to hold the phone steady so the sighted volunteer can see the image very clearly. And if you're one of the few lucky ones that currently has smart glasses and you're wondering, can I use this with Be My Ice? Well, the current trend is to ask AI. Well, I've installed Mistress of the Mute AI. So let me check. Can I use smart glasses with Be My Ice?
No!
Thank you.
Jeez. Okay.
Well, I guess that answered my question. But hopefully down the road, Be My Eyes will partner up with one of these smart glasses manufacturers. Now let's take a look at what happens when an inappropriate behavior occurs while using the Be My Eyes app. Be My Eyes defines inappropriate behavior as the following: threatening or use of any rude language, sexual or inappropriate or suggestive use of language, any type of bullying or pranking, requesting to send money or requesting to make a donation, pressuring you to provide any private or personal information, purposefully providing false or inaccurate information, and finally, trying to sell a product. Since Be My Eyes takes inappropriate behavior very seriously, all I need to do is double tap on I experienced a problem button, and then swipe right to select the inappropriate behavior, swipe right and explain in detail what happened, and finally swipe right until you hear the submit button and double tap to select it, and the request is sent to Be My Eyes for their review. Now let's take a look at what I'll experience when installing the Be My Eyes app for the first time. To get started, I need to install the Be My Eyes app. I can do this either by asking Siri to search for it on the App Store, or I can go to the App Store and search for it manually.
App Store.
Double tap.
App Store. Tab bar. Selected. Tab. 1 of 1. Search. Heading.
Swipe right and double tap to get the insertion point.
Insertion point edit. Search field. Is editing. Games. Apps. Stories. And more. Character mode. Insertion point at start.
2-finger double tap to start dictating.
Be My Eyes. Button.
Touch and explore on the virtual keyboard until I hear the search and double tap.
Search.
Touch and explore till I hear the Be My Eyes app.
Be My Eyes. See the world together. Editor's choice. Button.
Swipe right.
Redownload. Button.
Double tap.
Loading. Open. Button.
Double tap.
Open. Be My Eyes.
Swipe right. Now let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Join the community. See the world together. 467,756 blind. 6,347,113 volunteers.
Now I'm presented with 2 buttons. Swipe right.
I need visual assistance. Call a company or volunteer. Button.
Double tap on this if I want to reach a volunteer. Swipe right.
I'd like to volunteer. Share your eyesight. Button.
Double tap on this if I want to become a sighted volunteer. Swipe left.
I need visual assistance. Call a company or volunteer. Button.
Double tap.
Get started.
Swipe right. Now let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
By continuing, I confirm I am at least 17 years old, and I agree to and accept the Be My Eyes terms and privacy policy. Button. Continue with email. Button.
Double tap, and I can use my personal email.
Continue with Apple. Button.
Double tap, I can use my Apple ID.
Continue with Google. Button.
Double tap on this, and I can use my Google account. And finally swipe right.
Continue with Facebook. Button.
Double tap on this, and I can use my Facebook account. I'm going to go ahead and swipe left until I hear my email account. Double tap.
Continue with email. Button. Continue with email.
Swipe right. Now let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Already a user? Sign in. Button.
Double tap if I already have a Be My Eyes account. Otherwise, I'm going to swipe right and VoiceOver speak the fields that I'll need to fill in to create a new account.
First name, text field. Last name, text field. Email, text field. Password, minimum, 6 characters. Password, secure text field.
And finally swipe right.
Next, dimmed, button.
Now that I've filled in all this information, swipe right until you hear the next button and double tap.
Next, button. Next, verify your email.
Swipe right. Now let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
We sent a verification email. Please tap the link inside that email to continue. Pending verification. Open Mail app, button. Resend verification email, button.
And finally swipe right.
Okay, I clicked the link, button.
I'm going to go into my email app and find that confirmation email.
Messages. Unread. Be My Eyes. Confirm your email address. 12:43 a.m. Hi Sree. Thank you for signing up for Be My Eyes. To complete your account setup, please use the following. Actions available.
Double tap.
Dictate. Button.
Double tap.
Message content. Hi Sree. Actions available.
Swipe right. Now let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Thank you for signing up for Be My Eyes. Actions available. To complete your account setup, please use the following link to confirm your email address. Actions available. Confirm your email by clicking this link. Link. Actions available.
Double tap.
Mail. Safari.
Swipe right.
Your email address was successfully confirmed. Heading level 1.
And finally swipe right.
Open the app to finish creating your account.
I'm going to go ahead and go back to my Be My Eyes app and do a 4-finger single tap on top of the screen.
Choose your language.
Swipe right, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
We will pair you with volunteers who speak the same language. You can adjust this later in settings. Suggested languages, heading. English, English. Espanol, Spanish.
If I continue to swipe right, I'll be provided with the other languages that Be My Eyes supports. I'm going to swipe left to go back to English, double tap to select it.
English, English. News and stories.
Four-finger single tap on top of the screen, swipe right, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
News and stories. Would you like to receive our monthly newsletter and occasional updates from Be My Eyes? We'll notify you about new features, community calls, news and events, podcasts and stories. Updates include push and email notifications. You can always change this later, in settings. Yes, notify me, button.
And finally swipe right.
Not now, button.
Swipe left and double tap.
Yes, notify me, button. Yes, no, alert. Be My Eyes would like to send you notifications.
Swipe right.
Notifications may include alerts, sounds, and icon badges. These can be configured in settings.
Swipe right.
Don't allow, button.
And finally swipe right.
Allow, button.
Double tap.
Welcome, Sree.
Swipe right, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Be My Eyes is a way for you to get live human support anytime you need it. You can call a volunteer any time of day or night. When someone answers, they will look through your back-facing camera and describe your surroundings. There are 2 types of calls you can make. Volunteer, daily tasks, help around the house, and more. Specialized help, tech support, personal health and customer support.
And finally swipe right.
Get started, button.
Double tap.
Call a volunteer, button.
This brings me to the Be My Eyes home screen, and I'm presented with 2 buttons and 4 tabs. I'm going to swipe right and let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Call a volunteer, button.
Double tap, and it'll reach out to the next available volunteer.
Browse specialized help, button.
Double tap, and it selects the specialized help. Now let's take a look at the tabs on the bottom of the screen.
Tab bar, selected, get support, tab, 1 of 4. Community, tab, 2 of 4. Learn, tab, 3 of 4.
And finally swipe right.
Settings, tab, 4 of 4.
Before I take a look at the settings on the Be My Eyes app, I first want to take a look at the settings on the iPhone for the Be My Eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Siri to open settings. Open settings.
Settings.
Swipe right until I hear Be My Eyes and double tap.
Be My Eyes, button. Settings, back button.
Swipe right, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Be My Eyes, heading. Allow Be My Eyes to access, heading. Siri and search, button. Notifications, banners, sounds, button. Background app refresh, switch button, on.
This is an on-off toggle. If I don't want the app to automatically update, I could turn this off. And finally swipe right.
Cellular data, switch button, on.
And if you have a limited data service with your carrier, you can turn this off. And those are all the settings I want to cover on the Be My Eyes on my iPhone. Now it's time for me to take a look at the settings tab on the Be My Eyes app.
Settings, tab, 4 of 4.
Double tap. 4-finger single tap on top of the screen.
Settings, heading.
Swipe right, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Profile, heading. Personal details, Sree, button.
Double tap if I want to change the profile or delete the account.
Change email, button.
Double tap if I want to change to a different email address.
Password, button.
Double tap if I want to change the password.
Languages, heading. Primary language, English, button.
Let's take a closer look at this. Double tap.
Search, search field.
Double tap on the search field and I can quickly search on the many languages that Be My Eyes offers.
When you request help, you will be connected to the first available volunteer who speaks your primary language. Suggested languages, heading. Selected, English, English. Espanol, Spanish. All languages, heading.
Swipe right and I'll be provided a pull-down menu that has the 185 different languages that Be My Eyes offers. Next, I'll do a 4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button and double tap.
Settings, back button. Settings. Primary language, English, button. Other languages, button.
Double tap.
Search, search field. In the unlikely situation where there are no available volunteers who speak your primary language, we will try to connect you to someone speaking your secondary language. If you speak other languages, please add them here. Suggested languages, heading. Espanol, Spanish. All languages, heading.
Swipe right and I'll be provided a pull-down menu that has the 185 different languages that Be My Eyes offers. Next, I'll do a 4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button and double tap.
Settings, back button. Settings. Other languages, button. Notifications. Button.
Let's take a closer look at notification. Double tap.
In progress. Marketing announcements. Once in a while, we'd like to email or notify you with updates about new Be My Eyes features or other information we think will be valuable to you. Heading.
These are all on-off toggle. A simple double tap turns it on or off. Swipe right, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Marketing announcements. Switch button. On. Push notifications. Receive notification when new content gets published. Heading.
And finally swipe right.
Community stories. Notify me when a new story gets published. Switch button. On.
And to leave this section, 4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button and double tap.
Settings. Back button. Settings. Notifications. Button. Siri shortcuts. Button.
Let's take a look at the Siri shortcut. Double tap.
Siri added shortcuts. Heading.
Swipe right.
Call volunteer. Button.
By default, Be My Eyes has created a Siri shortcut. All I would need to do is invoke Siri and say call a volunteer, and it would reach the first available volunteer. And to go back, 4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button and double tap.
Settings. Back button. Settings. Siri shortcuts. Button.
And these are all the settings that I want to cover on this tab. Now there are a few other buttons that I did not cover, but feel free to take a look at when you get some free time. Now it's time for me to take a look at the third tab, which is the Learn tab. I'm going to do a touch and explore towards the bottom of the screen, and once I hear it, double tap.
Learn. Tab. 3 of 4.
4-finger single tap on top of the screen.
Learn. Heading.
Swipe right, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Collections. Dive into different collections and learn all about Be My Eyes. Get started. Link. List start.
Double tap on this, and you can listen to some directions on how to use the Be My Eyes app. But of course, listening to this cafe, you'll probably find it much more entertaining.
Use cases. Link.
Double tap on this, and you can listen to some use cases on how to use the Be My Eyes app.
Testimonials. Link.
Double tap on this, and you can listen to some testimonials from those who are volunteering at Be My Eyes, as well as those who are visually impaired using the Be My Eyes app. And finally, swipe right.
What's new? Link. List end.
Double tap on this, and I can see what's new at Be My Eyes. And these are all the things I want to cover inside the Learn tab. Now I'm going to take a look at the second tab. I'm going to do a touch and explore towards the bottom of the screen until I hear the Community tab and double tap.
Community. Tab. 2 of 4.
4-finger single tap on top of the screen.
Community. Heading.
Swipe right, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Stories. Link.
Double tap, and you can listen to some stories about Be My Eyes.
Blog. Link.
Double tap, and you can enter some blogs. And finally, swipe right.
Podcasts. Link.
Double tap on this, and I can listen to some of the podcasts about Be My Eyes. And these are all the things I want to cover inside the Community tab. Now it's time for me to take a look at the first tab, which is the Get Support tab. Once again, I'm going to do a touch and explore towards the bottom left corner, and once I hear it, double tap.
Get Support. Tab. 1 of 4.
4-finger single tap on top of the screen.
Get Live Video Support.
Swipe right, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Call a volunteer. Button.
I'll come back to this after I take a look at the specialized help. Swipe right.
Browse specialized help. Button.
Now let's take a deep dive look at each of the specialized help. Double tap.
In progress. Search. Search field.
Swipe right, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Assistive technology. Button.
Double tap.
Adaptation store. Lighthouse for the blind and visually impaired. Open. Button. IC Music Help Desk. Closed. Button.
And finally swipe right.
The Chicago Lighthouse My Tools for Living store. Open. Button.
And those are all the partners under assistive technology. 4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button.
Back button.
Double tap.
Back button. Assistive technology. Button.
Swipe right.
Beauty and grooming. Button.
Double tap.
Head and shoulders. Open. Button. Herbal essences. Open. Button. Olay. Open. Button. Old Spice. Open. Button. Pantene. Open. Button.
And finally swipe right.
Secret. Open. Button.
4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button.
Back button.
Double tap.
Back button. Beauty and grooming. Button.
Swipe right.
Blindness organizations. Button.
Double tap.
American Council of the Blind. Open. Button. AvConnect Center. Open. Button. Carroll Center for the Blind. Open. Button. Cincinnati Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. CAVI. Open. Button. Guide Dogs for the Blind. Open. Button. Padley. Open. Button. Houston Area Visually Impaired Network. Haven. Closed. Button. Lighthouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired. San Francisco. Open. Button. Massachusetts Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Open. Button.
And finally, swipe right.
Vista Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Open. Button.
And those are all the blind organizations that Be My Eyes has partnered up with. 4-finger single tap on the top of the screen to the back button.
Back button.
Double tap.
Back button. Blindness organizations. Button.
Swipe right.
Careers. Button.
Double tap.
Blind Institute of Technology. Closed. Button.
And finally, swipe right.
Jobs for Humanity. Closed. Button.
And those are all the career partners with Be My Eyes. 4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button.
Back button.
Double tap.
Back button. Careers. Button.
Swipe right.
Food and beverage. Button.
Double tap.
Gorilla. Closed. Button.
As of today, this is the only food and beverage partner at Be My Eyes. 4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button.
Back button.
Double tap.
Back button. Food and beverage. Button.
Swipe right.
Home and cleaning. Button.
Double tap.
Bounty. Open. Button. Cascade. Open. Button. Dawn. Open. Button. Downey. Open. Button. Gain. Open. Button. Mr. Clean. Open. Button.
And finally, swipe right.
Tide. Open. Button.
And these are all the partners Be My Eyes has under Home and Cleaning. 4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button.
Back button.
Double tap.
Back button. Home and cleaning. Button.
Swipe right.
Other. Button.
Double tap.
AARP Caregivers Helpline. Open. Button.
And finally, swipe right.
AARP Fraud Watch Helpline. Open. Button.
And these are other partners at Be My Eyes. 4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button.
Back button.
Double tap.
Back button. Other. Button.
Swipe right.
Personal Health. Button.
Double tap.
Accessible Pharmacy Services for the Blind. Open. Button. Clear Blue. Open. Button. Crest. Open. Button. Ohio COVID-19 Testing Assistance. Open. Button.
And finally, swipe right.
Oral B. Open. Button.
And these are all the personal health partners at Be My Eyes. 4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button.
Back button.
Double tap.
Back button. Personal Health. Button.
Swipe right.
Technical. Button.
Double tap.
Be My Eyes. Closed. Button. Google. Open. Button. LinkedIn. Open. Button. Microsoft. Open. Button.
And finally, swipe right.
Spotify. Open. Button.
And these are all the technical partners at Be My Eyes. 4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button and double tap.
Back button. Back button. Technical. Button.
Now I'm going to take a look at one of the specialized services. And the way this one is configured will be exactly the same as others. Swipe right.
Browse specialized help. Button.
Double tap.
In progress. Search. Search field.
Swipe right.
Assistive technology. Button.
Now let's take a look at the different services available inside assistive technology. Double tap.
Adaptation store. Lighthouse for the blind and visually impaired. Closed. Button.
I'm going to swipe right until I hit the Chicago Lighthouse and then double tap.
The Chicago Lighthouse My Tools for Living store. Open. Button. The Chicago. Back button.
Swipe right. Now let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
The Chicago Lighthouse My Tools for Living store. Call the My Tools for Living store to be assessed for the tools which will help you be independent. Open. Info. Button.
Double tap.
Info. Back button.
Swipe right. Now let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Info. Heading. The My Tools for Living store at the Chicago Lighthouse is here to assist you with your assistive technology and accessibility needs. Your vision is personal to you, and your assistive devices should suit your specific needs. Yet, finding the right device can be a daunting prospect. To make the search a bit easier, the Chicago Lighthouse is pleased to offer our experienced assistive technology specialists on the Be My Eyes app.
Inside the info is the detailed information about the organization. 4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button and double tap.
Back button. Back button. Info. Button. Opening hours. Button.
Previously, it said this organization was open, but if I want to get a detailed look at the business hours, double tap.
Tuesday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Swipe right. Now let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thursday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Friday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, closed. Sunday, closed.
And finally, swipe right.
Monday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button and double tap.
Back button. Back button. Opening hours. Supported languages. English. Dimmed. Button.
If the organization supports other languages, it'll be listed here.
Add to favorites. Button.
Double tap on this and it'll add this organization to the favorites, which I'll cover in a minute. And finally swipe right.
Call the Chicago Lighthouse My Tools for Living store button.
Double tap.
Skip button.
When I install a new app and it requires access to the camera or the microphone, during the installation process, I'll be prompted to give permission. But during the installation of Be My Eyes, I didn't receive that permission. But before I can reach a volunteer, I do need to give Be My Eyes permission to access the camera and the microphone.
To make video calls, please allow access to your microphone and camera. Give access button.
Double tap.
Give access alert. Be My Eyes would like to access the camera. To create video calls. Don't allow button.
And finally swipe right.
OK button.
Double tap.
Alert. Be My Eyes would like to access the microphone.
Swipe right.
To record audio while in a video call. Don't allow button.
And finally swipe right.
OK button.
Double tap. And finally, I have to agree to the legal terms.
Accept legal agreement. Heading. I agree button.
Double tap.
Using rear camera. Please wait.
Help you?
Playing around with the app and find out, what does your organization do?
Sure. The Chicago Lighthouse.
Okay.
So we are an organization that serves the blind, visually impaired, disabled, and veteran communities.
I'm doing a demo of the Be My Eyes app for iBUG today. Do you mind if I record this?
Sure, absolutely.
Great.
We'd be happy to also, if you wanted to, we've done some presentations in the past. If you wanted us to be a part of that, we can be on the phone or in a Zoom call and show devices and aids and describe things, whatever is suitable.
That's great. I will definitely pass that information along. I appreciate you taking this call. One final question. Do you know how many calls you typically get from this app?
We actually just started on Be My Eyes, so we've only had a few calls, but we're obviously, hoping that, over time with recognition, we'll be, set and be taking calls as much as we need to.
Great. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. And that is how selecting the second button on the Be My Eyes app works as it relates to specialized help. Now let's take a look at how I can add an organization inside the specialized help into favorites. Swipe right, and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Specialized help, heading. Info, button. Search field. Assistive technology, button.
As you heard, VoiceOver did not say favorites headings. Swipe right until I hear the Chicago Lighthouse.
The Chicago Lighthouse My Tools for Living store, closed, button.
Double tap.
The Chicago back button.
Swipe right until I hear Add to Favorites button and double tap.
Add to Favorites button. Remove from Favorites.
4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button and double tap.
Back button. Back button. The Chicago Lighthouse My Tools for Living store, closed, button.
4-finger single tap on top of the screen to the back button and double tap.
Back button. Back button.
Now let's take a look at what happens after I added an organization to the favorites. Swipe right and I'll let VoiceOver read what's on the screen.
Specialized help, heading. Info, button. Search field. Favorites, heading.
Now I'm presented with the favorites headings. Swipe right and I'll find Chicago Lighthouse.
The Chicago Lighthouse My Tools for Living store, closed, button.
And that is how I can add an organization to the favorites. Now let's see how I can remove this organization away from the favorite. I'm currently inside the Chicago Lighthouse. I'm going to swipe right till I hear Remove from Favorites button and double tap.
Remove from Favorites button. Add to Favorites.
And that is how I can add as well as remove an organization from my favorites. Now it's time for me to take a look at the first button, which is Call a Volunteer. And as I mentioned a few times in my presentation, now it's time for me to perform my difficult and complex tasks. Swipe right until I hear Call a Volunteer and double tap.
Call a Volunteer button. Using rear camera. Please wait. Finding the first available volunteer.
Hi, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good. What can I do for you?
I was wondering if you could help me out. I'm actually doing a training video for a blind community. So do you mind if I record this conversation?
No, that's fine.
Okay, we're going to perform this very difficult task, which you're going to probably get a chuckle out of it. You're going to help me pour some milk into a cereal bowl so I don't overfill it. How does that sound?
Oh, okay. That sounds pretty simple.
All right. Well, I appreciate your help. I'm going to get
Okay.
my milk out here. And what I would like to do is make sure that the milk is about halfway into the bowl, and you can just let me know when to stop. How does that sound?
Sounds pretty good.
All right, I'm going to try and do this without spilling, so let's see if it works. How does it look so far?
So far, you're doing good.
All righty.
Yep. I would say, yeah, okay, a little bit more.
A little bit more, okay.
Yeah, a little bit more.
A little bit more.
I would say a little bit more. Maybe like right in there.
All right.
I mean, if I were to eat that, it'd look pretty good.
All right. Well, I appreciate your help.
Yeah.
Your help on this. You have a fantastic day, and I appreciate you volunteering at Be My Eyes.
You do the same. Thanks a lot. Yep, see you. Bye.
And when I'm ready to end the call, all I need to do is swipe right.
End call button.
Double tap on end call.
Alert. Are you sure you want to disconnect?
Swipe right.
No button.
Finally swipe right.
Yes button.
Double tap. Now let's take a look at how I can rate the experience of this call.
Review your experience. Heading.
Swipe right.
Thanks for your call. Please let us know if you had any problems during this call, be it either technical or personal.
Swipe right.
I experienced problems. Button.
And if I did experience a bad call, I will double tap on this, and then I'll be prompted to fill in some information, and then hit the submit button, which I discussed previously, and finally swipe right.
I had a good call. Button.
Since I had a good call, I'm going to double tap.
I had a good call.
Now, before I conclude my presentation, I do want to make some final comments. A quick summary of the things that I covered. I talked about Be My Eyes, who they are, and some of the features, as well as how to install the app. Took a deep dive look at the specialized help, as well as reached a live agent within an organization in the specialized help, and concluded my presentation by connecting to a live Be My Eyes agent. In my personal opinion, I believe Be My Eyes does a fantastic job on almost everything it does, but I do want to bring up some bugs that I noticed. For example, I'm unable to create a Siri shortcut. And I was also informed by one of the volunteers that he could not turn my flashlight on using his device. I also noticed that under the beauty and grooming, as well as the house and cleaning, I'm unable to reach any specialized agents. And hopefully Be My Eyes will address and fix these issues shortly. And finally, I do want to say one thing about Be My Eyes and our very own iBUG today. Both of these organizations share a common theme, and that is that their services are to be free for you and me. And personally, for me, I feel both of these organizations, when I need some assistance, they'll always be near me. All right, that concludes my part of the presentation. So we're going to go ahead and open it up for Q&A.
Sonia,
Yes, Sonia.
what kind of cereal is it?
It was shredded mini wheats, my favorite.
All right. Yeah,
All right.
this is, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Sonia.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I love this app. I've used it to see if my ride was here. You know, like, they drive up, but they don't announce themselves. I mean, it's just really a powerful app. So
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, I definitely agree. I was, when I was doing this part of my part of the presentation, I had a question I sent out to Be My Eyes, and it was Hans who responded back to me. And I asked him, I said, would you be interested in coming in talking about it? He goes, I would love to, but I'd be sleeping during this time. So he passed.
It's Corey. I used it once to actually deal with a mobility issue.
Mm-hmm.
I was in unfamiliar territory. It was cottage time. We were drinking beer and I had to go put the cans away, and I made it there, but I couldn't get my bearings on the way back. So just fired off a quick call to Be My Eyes. It was the first one too. Really quick, really professional.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that experience. Anyone else have any questions or comments?
This is Ted.
Yeah, go ahead, Ted.
I've only used it once or twice, but the once I do remember, Joanne and I had bought a DVD player from Wish and had a really difficult time figuring out what certain plugs were. And there was a lady that answered along with her teenage son, and they were able to help us figure out how to get this DVD player to work on the TV with no, I would have expected to see an external power plug, like a power cord, but there wasn't one. but there was an oddly shaped cord on it. So what end of story is, I had to give it the power through the USB and and do the audio video through the HDMI, and that other cord was very likely something that, since Wish is international, was probably a plug for some other country, and they were able to at least get me that far to make the device work. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, great. Any other questions?
Hi, Sree. This is Farah.
Yeah, Farah.
I would like to know, get the info again about group FaceTiming.
Herbie, would you want to comment on that?
Yes. So that's where you need to go to the FaceTime app. And the easiest way is just to create a link that you would then send to everybody that you want to join. And they click on that link and you will hit the join button, and you yourself also will need to hit the join button after creating the link.
Okay, thank you.
So Herbie, you can send that link to those who currently have an iOS device also, right? They don't have to necessarily just be an Android. The link can be used by...
No, the link is for everybody.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying you use the link method for anybody, whether it, there's two reasons you would use a link method. One, if it's a group call, or two, if it's a non-iOS user. But the FaceTime group thing is for anybody. Anybody can join regardless of their device.
Okay, great.
One more
This is
question.
Kathy.
All right, we'll come back to you, Farah, 1 second. Go ahead, Kathy.
I was going to say, you can call more than one person on FaceTime. I've called 2 other people. I don't know what the numbers are for when you have to get big enough to need a group. How many calls? But you can call
2 or more. More than 2. So if you have 3, basically 3 people is what would constitute a group. So.
Yeah, okay. I think FaceTime can support up to 32 people at once.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And that link, by the way, you technically can post the link anywhere. If you wanted to post it on a web page and have people click on it that way, it's a link that you post however you want to send it. So.
Okay.
And then after creating, the group list, then we tap on share, or?
So yeah, there's it'll ask you like it'll bring up the share sheet, and when you create the link, like I demoed, and you'll be able to share it with each person, and then you would just click on, I think, share to send it again to a second person. I could have demoed that a little bit more. I suppose I wasn't thinking that would be terribly important for this, but you would I think there's a share button that you would click to share the link again.
Thank you.
This is Greg.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Herbie, am I remembering correctly that when you do a group FaceTime, it will put people in the waiting room, and you have to double tap on each person to actually allow them into the call?
Unless they've made some change that I am unaware of, no. It's when they click on the link, they themselves have to hit the join button. It's possible they've made some change. I've honestly not used group FaceTime that much recently, and so I'd have to I could set up an experimental group FaceTime call and see if that is now the case. But it used to be that everybody would have to hit the join button, and because it takes you to one screen where you've got like the different controls, including the join button.
So that's probably something we can probably bring up to the buzz call tomorrow. So if anyone has any questions that doesn't get answered today, definitely join us on our Monday night buzz call. This is where we go over iOS questions. So anybody else have any other questions?
This is Misty. I wanted to piggyback on what she was just saying about the FaceTime You can, because I use it with my line dance class, and what I did was I went into my message and I created a FaceTime from there. So every time I go in my message and I go to the name that I call my line dance, and I added everybody on there. And yes, she is correct. When you call them on that call, all they have to do is hit join. And if they have trouble with join, they can go straight to FaceTime link and join from there and come on to the call.
Great. Thank you for explaining that. Thank you. All right, we got a few more minutes. Anyone got any final questions?
May I ask another question? This is Farah.
Yeah, go ahead, Farah.
Then that group list is going to stay there, and we don't need for every single call, to go to the link and make a group list and call or FaceTime. So that's going to be there every other time we want to talk to the same group, we just tap on it, right?
So this is Herbie. So first of all, I mean, my real focus today was just the regular FaceTime. I mentioned the group FaceTime as an option that you can pursue, but I think, yeah, you can keep the group link active if you click on the same one again.
Again, but yes, all you do is just go to the creating that you made, and you just hit video or audio, whichever one you're wanting to use, because I use the video, and double tap on that, and it'll call everybody that's on that list.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so we're kind of at the end of the hour. So I just want to say thank you to Terry Ann and Herbie for helping me do this presentation. I know they spent quite a number of time doing this for us. I also want to thank everyone who joined. Thank you for your questions, and we hope that you found this very useful. If you did, then the work that we did is definitely, we enjoyed doing it for you guys. Michael and Sonia, do you guys have any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I thought everybody did an excellent job. Terry Ann, Herbie, you, Sree, great presentations. Well done. Professional, a lot of good information there. And just thanks for everybody else coming into the meeting. I think this is one of our biggest meetings. So way to go.
All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Yes, this is Senya. I mean, those are totally invaluable apps, and we can always become more independent using these apps, and that's kind of the goal, at least for me. I try to do as many things as I can by myself. So thank you, Sree, Herbie, and Terry Ann.
All right, with that, we'll go ahead and end this cafe. And if you have any questions about what we did, definitely check out it in our podcast as well as our YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
All right. Good night.
Well, thank you. Very good.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Puedo esperar por ti. Todo lo que fue
This is where we need that caption.
ya no